Hello, and welcome to Round Glass. My name is Lisa Kring. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a long-time committed practitioner of Vipassana Buddhism. I am so thrilled to be with you right here in real time where we can practice together, learning to heal doubt. And I did offer a prompt in the chat along this theme, and I would love for you to respond. Whenever you are doubting yourself, how does it affect you? So let that drop down and please share it in the chat so we can all move into common humanity together, understanding that this can be a really challenging, corrosive emotion. If we don't know how to heal, I see already some people responding. Someone says, affects my confidence. Absolutely. It kind of cuts you at the knees. It erodes your confidence. And it doesn't really, doubt does not equip you with the courage that you need. Someone else has lots of indecision and second guessing. Yes, it makes the mind spin, doesn't it? It actually creates more confusion in the mind. So this is just all real good, hard evidence where we can see that doubt, while it's a very common emotion that all of us experience, self-doubt especially, that there are ways to mindfully heal and manage and work through doubt and maybe break through to a more powerful place deep within ourselves. So that prompt, really, I'd like to just say a few words before we move into the practice together, and then we can share and reflect afterwards. But when you do have self-doubt, it is important to notice how it affects you. We all struggle with self-doubt, and when it takes over, it can really undermine our ultimate success and limit our full potential. And from a mindfulness perspective, doubt can be considered one of the trickiest emotions to manage and heal because I'm sure you agree with this. It's so seductive. It plays into our deepest fears and insecurities, right? And doubt has a way of really sneaking up on us, precisely in those moments when what we really deeply need most is inspiration, courage, and support. So I'm so happy right now to offer this meditation, this practice, in which we will learn to gain some insight into what might be behind the doubt. We never stop to question or reflect or discover this. For most of us, what's behind the doubt, most often it's protective. It's an old voice from somewhere in your past, simply trying to keep you safe from failure. Does that resonate for you? You can feel into that even before we move into the practice. It's trying to help, but in the long run, it's maladaptive and limiting. So when we learn to discover what might be underneath it, perhaps it's its function, then from this place of understanding, it begins to break the spell of doubt, which can really hypnotize us. It breaks that spell. And then from that place of understanding, we can begin to make space and discover the kind of more effective inner support that we really need, helping us to face whatever it is we need to face, strengthening that inner voice that I like to call the inner cheerleader. You can call it what you like. I call it that. So let's heal doubt together right now, moving into a realistic and practical place of inner courage, inner support, and inner resilience. So I hope you feel ready to practice now to discover what this feels like for yourself. Let's just take a moment to settle into a posture that feels very stable. And I would say, in working with doubt, it's really nice to allow the body to feel very connected and supported by the earth. This is very reassuring. It's a natural antidote when we feel unstable, mentally or emotionally or physically. So as you can see, I'm sitting, excuse me, cross-legged on the floor. If that is comfortable for you for the next 20, 22 minutes, that's fine. I invite you, if you really want to feel the earth, is to lay down on the ground, maybe on a soft rug, wrap yourself in a warm blanket, put a nice soft pillow under your head, and really release into the support and connection of the earth. This is a very reassuring factor in the present moment that will help begin to establish this feeling of inner security that we're learning to tap into more and more. So feel free to find whatever posture really feels most stable and connected to the earth, perhaps, always here, always holding and supporting and cradling the body. And then when you feel ready, settling into that posture, just melting into the posture. Closing the eyes just so that you can begin to drop into your felt experience, what's real right now. And we'll take the first few minutes just to establish some mindful, embodied awareness before we move into this practice of healing doubt. So let the body lead. I'd like to invite you to actually, depending on your posture, to lean back. If you're lying on the ground, you can roll your shoulders back, opening the chest, really releasing as fully as possible. And begin to just drop down into where you feel the body's connection with the earth, with the ground. Whatever is holding and supporting the body, to feel into those points of contact just for a moment and feel into the stability and the support of that right now. Let's just let the body-mind connection in real time, let that move into the foreground just for now, to establish some mindfulness in the present moment, letting the body lead. Notice what it's like to really melt into the support of the earth, holding the body, cradling the full weight of the body. And just let the body be held, which it is. As you feel this connection to the earth, really feeling this, letting this move into the center of our open present moment awareness. Just feeling cradled and held and supported by the earth. And as you do, take a few deep breaths in, breathing in deeply, feeling the whole body expand slightly as you breathe in. We're all breathing together on this live stream. It's beautiful to feel the communal breath in a way, all supporting each other. And as you breathe out, just allow the out breath to do all the work for you and just see what it feels like to release more fully into the support of the earth with every out breath, just melting into the earth, letting go of stresses of the day. Let's do that again, breathing in deeply. It's beautiful to acknowledge we're all breathing the same breath together, breathing in together. So nice to have good company when we practice. And as you breathe out, you can even really allow there to be vocal sound as you breathe out. It can release even more from the body. So we're just grounding mindfully for these first few minutes with the body. And just notice what it feels to be in direct support, direct relationship to the earth. And do notice emotionally if it does provide some reassurance, some support. And this is something that you can always use as an antidote to doubt as well. If you feel this is helpful to you, you can really feel that grounded support of the earth. Just know that that is a practice you can always, always release into in any moment. So resting, allowing the body to rest on the earth and simply rest in that experience just for another minute. Just resting, connecting, and grounding. Now we'll begin to move into this practice of healing doubt. And as you feel grounded in the body to any degree, it's also beautiful with this practice just to find that inner compass of intentionality that can really ground us through the waves of doubt. When we tap into this good heart that brought us here to this practice right now. And as you feel into this good heart, the warmth of it, the caring of it, to some degree, something deep within you brought you here that wants you to be able to show up into your best self in every moment of life. This is very inspiring to feel into the truth of that. Some part of you knows, or you wouldn't be here right now, that you can do whatever it is you need to do in life. Feeling into this potential, feeling into that good, strong heart that is here to support your growth in healing doubt. And let that be yet another support, alignment in the present moment, and do feel that connection. As you set the intention as we move into the practice, for you to always be growing into your best self. It may involve risks. There may be moments of failure, but this is part of the ride. So just feeling into that inner support, that heart that brought you here. It's a good thing. Just being here is 80% of it, I think. It's really beautiful that you're here right now. From this place of embodied support in the earth and in the heart, let's move into this practice of healing doubt. What I'd like you to do is to bring to mind a situation in your life, perhaps at this time, that for you does trigger some self-doubt. So see what shows up in your mind's eye. It can be a personal or a professional situation. It's a situation where in some way you may second guess yourself or hold yourself back. And when that situation, just for now, becomes clear, allow it to become quite vivid in your mind's eye. And then place yourself there enough right now so that you can feel into the situation and allow any feeling of self-doubt to emerge in your experience right now. It's okay. In order to heal doubt, we often say, to heal it, we must feel it just a little bit. So allow yourself to get in touch with the experience of self-doubt. How does it show up right now in this situation for you? Do you feel it in the body anywhere predominantly? What's it feel like in the body? Is there a voice that the self doubt tends to speak to you in? And what does it say in this situation to you? Just notice for a moment how the self doubt affects you. And this is important. See if you can feel right now in this situation and have some insight into whether the doubt is hindering or helping you. And this is for you to discover. Most definitely, it's hindering more than it's helping you. And get in touch with that so that that becomes clear. Is it really helping you or not? From this place of more understanding about the doubt, you can turn towards the experience. And as you get in touch with it, feeling it, is it really helpful? When we can see that it's not, it begins to break the spell. We can begin to say, okay, maybe this is not the best thing for me. Next, allowing yourself to turn to it and inquire, is there a deeper function to this self-doubt? Is it actually trying to help me in some way? Just see as you turn towards it, just notice. Is it here for a reason? Is it trying to help? Is it trying to keep me safe? To protect me from failure or from any potential external judgment by loved ones, by friends, by anyone, personal or professional? Is it protective? When you start to get a sense into the deeper function to any degree, you may want to acknowledge and give it some credit for trying. Maybe it's not helpful, but you can give this part that doesn't support you for whatever reason, maybe to protect you. You can say thank you, but no thank you. And see what it's like to honor that it's trying, but to allow it to step aside just for now. Now, keeping this situation still alive in your mind's eye, the situation that does for you trigger some self-doubt, keeping it alive, refreshing that in your mind's eye. Still feeling the self-doubt anywhere in the body, of course. See now if you can make some space for a different voice. This is a more supportive and brave and encouraging voice. What does it say? This is that deep part of you that brought you to this practice right now, that wants the best for you. I have got your back. I'm right here with you, and I am not going anywhere. I will be here with you throughout this process. Even if you stumble, I will stay with you. I have got you. I am right here. I am not going anywhere. You can do this. It may not be perfect, but you can do this. You can also, as a way to tap into this more supportive voice or part, right, that can get us through situations that can trigger self-doubt. It can be a lovely thing as well, see how it feels to do this, to allow that more supportive voice to take a form of any kind in your mind's eye. It can be a very good friend. It can be a very supportive guiding figure of any kind. See what shows up. And often this is an easier way to tap into this more supportive voice. See what shows up and then really listen to what it has to say to you. What words does it offer you in this situation? Really listen. Perhaps there's something that needs to be offered to you, given to you in the form of a symbolic object. That really helps eradicate the self-doubt, right? That can be beautiful. Or perhaps just being in the presence of this figure, of this very supportive, courageous figure in whatever form it takes, just being in its presence is all that's needed. Soaking up those qualities, making them part of who you are. So play with this. Explore how this feels in this situation to discover a voice that is supportive, that believes in you, that understands that life is imperfect and yet will walk through every moment with you, cheering you on, helping guide you through the process, whatever it may be. And also perhaps allowing this voice to take a form. It can be very powerful to allow it to manifest into an image in your mind's eye, a beloved caregiving figure, even like a totem animal or an ancestor, a spiritual figure, or a friend. So rest in this experience, and as you do, just see what unfolds. Well, how does it feel to get in touch to any degree with this more supportive, encouraging presence? And of course, there may still be words of caution, and that is fine. It's a more integrated voice that wants the very best for you without exception. Go ahead and let the situation fade now in these last few minutes of this meditation practice. Let the situation that you brought to mind, let that fade. And simply rest as we began in the present moment, returning into the connection and support of the earth. And simply rest in that grounded experience. And as you do, feeling the body held and cradled, just reflect, what did you notice about this practice? Could you get in touch with some of the doubt, and how did that feel? Could you have some insight that ultimately it wasn't serving you? It was hindering more than helping? And then as you got in touch with it, how interesting to actually turn towards it and to inquire whether there's a deeper function. Perhaps it is there to protect you. And protection is often needed. That's what makes it so seductive. We want to be safe, don't we? And yet, when we combine this insight with the deeper function, it can break the spell a bit. And then suddenly there's some space for a new, more supportive voice. Were you able to tap into that voice, into that quality within yourself? What was it like? What was the tone of this voice? Was it authentic, practical, and very caring? And then, of course, it can be very powerful to allow it to take a kind of form outside of yourself. It bypasses all the argument of the mind when it takes an external form in the mind's eye, even though it's still you, still a part of you. How did that feel to get in touch with that? And can you carry that as an image with you, especially in times that may trigger self-doubt for whatever reason? So I'll ring the bowl just to end this practice for now. And feel free to open your eyes and stretch. And this is such a great time now. We're in community and we can move into some questions. I'd love to hear them. And just seeing the questions from the chat, someone says, how can you notice the difference between doubt versus intuition? So this is a very interesting question. I think that doubt, in my experience, really suppresses intuition. Intuition comes from that deep, authentic place within ourselves that we can trust. Doubt really hinders trust. It undercuts that feeling of trust. And so intuition, and remember what we learned to do in that practice just now, we felt the doubt and we could ask ourselves, is this really serving me or not? With intuition, it has a very different quality when we tap into it. It feels different. And if you're connected to your moment-to-moment experience, you can validate for yourself whether it is wholesome or unwholesome, and you can feel the difference in real time. Intuition tends to feel right. That's what, by definition, it's very clear. There's no argument in the mind. We really drop into a felt sense of what we know to be right. Doubt, on the other hand, is like just causing all of these ripples on the surface, of the mind and making us overthink it. So it has a different quality. And what's really great to do is to see for yourself as you feel into self-doubt. How does that feel? Intuition has a different quality. Beautiful question, though. Somebody asks also, fantastic question, is there anything that's called healthy doubt? And I would say yes. This is a really beautiful point to bring up. There is something that we call in Buddhism noble doubt. Now, this is a different thing than what I'm talking about when we're having self-doubt. Noble doubt is this very healthy kind of critical factor that asks questions, that doesn't automatically believe whatever you hear, right? It's really important. That's a very important thing. We just don't take at face value things. So that's noble doubt. That's really honoring our process. Like I said in that first question, of seeing for ourselves, what does doubt feel like? Does this feel like it supports me? What does intuition feel like? Oh, that's a very different feeling. That feels really good. No, that's good. You'll know by feeling. And that more noble doubt really can support us in not automatically believing everything you hear. Now, self-doubt is corrosive. This is not considered noble, right? There can be times when we need to really think through a situation, right? And critically think and assess things. But we want to do this from a place of support, not from a place of insecurity. So I hope you can tune into and begin to differentiate for yourself what all of this feels like. And as you practice more and more in this way, You will know what feels best for you. So for now, our time is done. I want to thank you so much for joining me. This has been beautiful. And remember, you can meditate with Round Glass live every single day. Join us again tomorrow or anytime. And check us out at round.glass and on our app. And of course, I'll be back next week, for my next live session. Thank you. Until then, be well.